we'll be taking a look at the situation, the NUPENG Dangote deal collapsing and all that. And maybe you don't understand or you're wondering, what are we talking about? I'll give you a brief recap on what's happened so far. Now, the Dangote refinery has earlier announced plans a few months back to deploy thousands of CNG-powered trucks, originally about 4,000, for distributing fuel and petroleum products. Now, NUPENG, that's the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, especially its petroleum tanker drivers PTD branch, raised concerns that drivers being recruited for these new trucks were being required not to join any existing union. Now, how did NUPENG respond? Responding, they threatened a nationwide strike starting supposed to be on Monday, September 8, 2025, to protest what it deemed anti-union labor practices. Now, NUPENG cited constitutional rights, freedom of association, the Labor Act, and relevant international labor conventions. Now, the strike was suspended after a memorandum of understanding was signed on September 9, 2025, facilitated by the Department of State Services, involving government ministries and, of course, Dangote management. Now, the key terms included was recognition of unionization rights for workers who wish to join a union, no formation of a parallel or alternative union, a timeline unionization process to be completed between September 9 to 2022, protection for workers from victimization for union membership or for participating in the strike. Now, there's been an alleged breach. After the agreement, NUPENG has now accused Dangote of violating the pact. Drivers were, as we said earlier in the course of the program, when we're doing our top stories, this is not what has happened. Now, there are a lot of parties involved in this meeting, the DSS and all that, and somehow this has fallen through. What could this mean? What is the implication for us? Labor relations, legal and there's a risk of prolonged labor disputes which could affect distribution of petroleum, possibly causing fuel scarcity or price hikes. Legal or regulatory, the case raises issues about the enforceability of labor laws, freedom of association, and whether businesses can lawfully require non-unionization as a condition of employment. Operational disruption, reputation and investor confidence, and all that. Now, I have joining me to discuss and help us, share insights, of course, on another conversation later in the program, economist and development expert, Dr. Aliyu, Ilias. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
He's joining us virtually from Abuja. We're hoping to be joined later by the PETROAN president to equally speak to us, because this affects them too. Now, we've had you here earlier on the show a few weeks back, or a few months back, and you actually expressed, joy about these Dangote trucks coming in to help, and and all that. And now this is happening. What's your take on the current situation that has taken place?
Oh, Ilias.
Doctor, can you hear us?
Hello.
I think it's not for me.
All right. Morning. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning.
So Dr. Billy has joined us. Thank you, Dr. Billy, for joining us on the program. With the voice you're hearing is Dr. Billy Gillis Harry. He's the national president of PETROAN. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Billy. So I was actually directing the question to Dr. Aliyu, Ilias, but now that you're here, I'll talk to you, seeing as you are, your organization is part of this. You are the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria. How does this situation impact this association, this group?
The strike action that happened, or the new situation where NUPENG is already complaining that the agreement has been reneged. All of them impacts the retail owners very negatively. And what we do hope is that the government will step in as quickly as possible and ensure
Dr. Aliyu, if you could share your insights for us, please, Dr. Ilias.
Right. So I think we were so happy when we got to know that the
That this matter.
Go on, Dr. Aliyu, please.
right. I said we are so glad that when we got to know that
Yes, I'm busy. I'm
the
sorry.
DSS have been able to broker the meeting between the NUPENG and Dangote. But to our surprise, we got to know that Dangote have reneged on their earlier agreement, and by saying that they should remove NUPENG stickers from their trucks, I think it's a breach. In as much as Nigeria is concerned and the economy is concerned, we wouldn't want to see any sector because we know the implication of it, especially when it has to do with PMS. PMS actually power the economy. Once they go on strike, we see a lot of problems. So we are to actually find a way to actually to manage these situations. I must tell you, we don't want them to go on strike. Then in terms of unionization, I think we must also have to look at that regulation rather that has to do with unionization. Should any employee not belongs to a union because the organization does not want them to belong, or should it be options of the union of the workers to belong to a union? These are the things we must also bring on table so that we will not have a continuous issue. That also a theory talking about no paying the benefit they will gain when they have Dangote staff in their union. But for me, as an individual, I think staff should be allowed to unionize because it has advantage even to Dangote as an entity.
Okay, so I think I want to ask, some question. Could you still be a union member whether you don't have your sticker on? Removal of sticker, does it mean that you're not a member of that union? Would it in any way impact anything, whether the sticker is on the vehicle or not?
It's a symbol, so it should be there. It's a symbol, so it is expected. In as much as you are a union member of that organization, it is expected that you are most of their conditionalities, and it's obvious. Once you see any truck going, you will see no pen. So they want you to. That's part of their symbol. So by you removing it, it's a wrong signal. Perhaps if you are even removing it, not when there is a situation. Now there is a situation and they are having issues, you are now removing it. So it's a wrong signal. So I think that's their symbol. So it's mean a lot to them.
Okay, now, away from this story, the second story, Dangote has decided to, reduce the price of gantry price 820 and all that, and is now saying he's going to give it directly to retail owners, and that's happening from Monday. That's basically in 3 days' time. Now, what do you make of this? Because it feels like some sort of response to this situation, because this came up after the whole deal has collapsed. This is like coming from Dangote after the deal has collapsed. What do you make of it?
Well, I'm taking it with nostalgia. In as much as I want Dangote to flourish because it has bring a lot of opportunity and a good news, a good activities to that sector. You remember, Dangote is operating in the all now. It might be with different name, but we can still trace it to him. They are in the downstream. So that's, for me, it appeared to be monopoly if you ask me, because if you are in the upstream, midstream and downstream, that means you can now say whatever you want to say. But I agree with him that in the issue of supply chain, sometimes you look at the bureaucratic bottleneck that could actually have made you not to be able to carry out your activities. You can decide to at least a last mile delivery, which is, but if it's have effects or negative externalities to those that are in that sector as well, they have right to also complain. So if he is actually reacting, that means he does not want the case to settle. But being a business, he can actually have it. But see the way it is now, he has different name, MRS, Dangote, and you can still look at the other, maybe he has another name. So with those nomenclature, we may not be able to say is in all the the stream. But as it is now, it appears that is in the downstream, midstream, which is also
Part of
what someone. And I can also give you an example. If you look at the other sector that is, you can see the dominance that is there, especially cement. You can see that if you want to say anything now, it's as if it's only Dangote that's determining what happened in that sector.
Okay. All right. Let's go over to Dr. Gillis Harry. Doctor, now it's come to you. You've heard what Dr. Aliyu Ilias says. Do you concur or agree with him?
I totally agree with him because this is one Nigeria that I'm ahead is able to piece it together, try to let us know, the arm-length principle of what the PIA has envisaged and approved. The thing is that we want a successful Dangote refinery, and we want a successful industry player, and then we want the benefits to be passed on to Nigeria. So this, back and forth is not desirable. It's not needed, and it is not even going to help any one person. Even the Dangote refinery itself will not benefit from that. What is going to be beneficial is that the industry should collaborate, work together under the leadership of the chief executive of NMDPRA and the Ministry of Petroleum and all the related inter-ministerial agencies that will make the opportunity, for Nigerians to have the best in terms of competitive pricing, availability of product, affordability of product, and also quality of petroleum product. So I do completely agree with him that we need to, clearly define what should be done and what should not be done.
Okay, so now one of the stories we read earlier was that they caught petrol price, and it's stated in the statement that the filling stations that would be part of this would get it free from Dangote refinery. And if I understand correctly, you're the president of the Petroleum Retailers Association of Nigeria. So the question is this not a good deal for your members? Would it benefit them more? You're getting it directly from the source, free of charge.
If it is free indeed, and you can bring 49 million naira as gift to me and give me the product to just sell and go away with the money, that would be a very welcome, gift. But I'm not sure that is what is envisaged.
No. The cost
Since the experiment is going to start, we await to see what will happen. But I can tell you right away that it's an experiment that will not in any way do Nigeria good, because this whole idea is, Dangote by himself is not a welfarist. It's not a Father Christmas. He's a businessman that must have to get a resource, invest resource, make profit, and then pay back. So I don't see where 49 million naira per station for one PMS of 45,000 liters will be given free to retailers. But if that is the case, I should know. But I don't know that's what it is. And I don't see that as what the Dangote refinery means. So we will wait and see how the experiment will be.
Doctor,
But I think right now, what the government has done is to make sure that there is no more strike action. So all members, all parties should obey what the terms of that agreement is. Dangote should obey that. All the affiliate companies of Dangote and every one of us in the valley to be able to participate and obey what the agreement has said.
Okay. Let me clarify. They're not giving you the products free. The cost of transportation from refinery to you is what is free of charge, not the product free. Let me clarify that. That's what the story is.
I'm happy that you're able to make that correction.
No.
So we will to see how that operates.
Okay.
Because to operate a tanker, it costs money, and that is going to use CNG does not mean that investments will not be done to move product from one point to the other.
Okay.
But right now in Nigeria, we have over 30,000 tankers that are working. So 4,000 actually is just a little drop in the ocean. But if 4,000 is going to be given free, then it means that you're invariably telling everybody else that's in the business to go and sleep. Just like what used to happen with NNPC refinery, retail outlets. When product is there, you see the queues will be, as long as 3 streets.
All right, we seem to have lost the PETROAN president there. Now, we're going to tie up this conversation so we can move on to our other conversation for today. Dr. Aliyu, Ilias, any final notes, from this whole thing?
Dr. Billy Ilhari, I said, we want to see how those things will actually play out. But I don't want us to go towards monopoly, which is going to give us a serious issue. So the more we slide into monopoly, the more the consumer suffer. Because if there is competition, that's when consumers will be able to have alternative to actually purchase from. So I like government to also do their regulatory very well to make sure that we don't really put ourselves in a tight corner. But going ahead, I want to employ the two sides, the NUPENG and the Dangote, to come to a conclusion, to come to a reasonable agreement so that Nigerians will not suffer any strife.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Now, when we return from the break, we'll go to our other conversations. It's one quite very important to us. When was the last time you had to make use of your lower denominations? We'll look into that. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Now, as I said before the break, we're looking at our lower denominations and what's happening to them actually, what's going on. Let's look at this story from Victoria.
Nigeria's currency, the naira, once strong and respected, has seen its lower denominations lose value over the years. While the Central Bank of Nigeria still recognizes coins and smaller notes as legal tender, their significance in daily transactions has all but disappeared. Coins such as 50 kobo and 1 naira are now practically extinct, while the lowest polymer notes, 5 naira, 10 naira, and 20 naira, have vanished from daily use.
If the naira recovers its value, it will be automatic that people will get to accept these lower denominations with time. There is no force that will be used on it. If the naira can recover its value, which should be a gradual thing, or which we expect to be a gradual thing, people will begin to accept these lower denominations.
This gradual loss of value is largely attributed to long-term inflation, devaluation, and economic instability. What was once useful for everyday purchases now carries no purchasing power. Economists say this trend reflects the impact of persistent inflation and the weakening of the naira, which continues to erode the currency's ability to meet basic needs.
The 5 naira, the 10 naira, the 20 naira, as long as Nigerian law is concerned, they are all still legal tender. Irrespective of how the citizen will view it, comparing it with the value, with the market value, it has not eroded those currency as not part of our legal tender. The legal tender in Nigeria, which is still what we are acceptable to transact in Nigeria. But the value attached to it, that's where the problem lies.
Petty traders and commuters who rely on small transactions are among the hardest hit. In Lagos, residents share their views on the disappearance of the smaller notes, blaming inflation for the erosion of value.
Officially legal tender, which means that you can still tender them, use them to buy something. But the reality of it is that, can you actually use them to buy something? Of course, you discover that for several years now. I personally, myself, I haven't seen 10 naira notes or 20 naira or even 5 naira notes of things, even though it's still a legal tender. The problem is the devaluation of the currency. So things that those notes used to buy, you can't see them in the market. So actually they have no much relevance as far as Nigerian market is concerned. The economy is concerned.
the government should try maybe lower inflation in prices for stocks in the market in order for the use of those lower currency, because now most of the things we are buying start from probably 200, even maybe 100 naira. So if things can get reduced in price, maybe cost market or inflation, then I feel those currency will come back to use and be valuable in the society.
Inflation has eaten deep into our economy, and I think the government should do something about it. I can't remember the last time I spent 20 naira or 10 naira notes in this country. Even 50 naira notes, I can't remember the last time. And I think they are still a legal tender in this country. Even coins, I can't remember the last time I set my eyes on coins, and they are still legal tender in this country. So the government needs to do something about it.
Today, lower denominations of the naira have virtually disappeared from daily transactions, losing both relevance and value. Their disappearance reflects the steep decline in the value of the naira and underscores the urgent need for stronger economic measures to restore stability to the currency.
There you have it. The situation we have currently ongoing with our lower naira denominations, even the coins, that story says, the people in the story, we've not had any use for it in a very, very, very long time. Now, Dr. Aliyu Ilias, you're the economist. Tell us, help us understand, because our question is, are these currencies, are these denominations going, on extinction, and what could it mean for us as a country?
Right. Before we actually come about that, to ask colleagues in the office, how far are they spending the coin and the lower denominations? Me point blank. One even said I can't recall seeing a coin ever or spending coin, and the other person said you could remember the paper lower denomination, but that being on extinction. So I think the votes pop you actually show said it all and define people's view towards it. One, the problem is inflation. The second one is the valuation. And another thing is the culture. And that culture will attribute to the Central Bank of Nigeria. I've been to some African countries of recent. I still see them using coin, especially in East Africa, about 3 countries there. They still use coin. And the more you use coin, the more perhaps if you want to use coin in Nigeria or you want to use lower denomination, inflation have eroded the value. What will you buy at 5 naira? What will you buy at 10 naira? What will you buy at 20 naira? I called before some sachet sweets. You can buy them at 20 naira. But now they will tell you 300 naira just to avoid you bringing that thing. So I bringing the lower denomination. And that's a serious problem. And that's why we have serious issue in our economy, especially inflation related. So we must make sure that we bring back those things. And how do we bring it back those things? For them to have value. So until they have value, and having value of them simply means that we have to have inflation as low as single digits. Maybe that will help to revive it.
Okay, so basically you're saying that we should keep at it, because my next question would be, do you think that the Central Bank of Nigeria should officially phase them out or keep maintaining these denominations that are not necessarily being used? That's one. Also, do you think, as you said now, that the seller, it would, because they don't want you to have to bring 5 naira or 10 naira, would now, do some sort of packaging and put it at a certain price? Do you think that that in itself is equally affecting why the lower denominations are losing its somewhat value?
So let's look at the low-hanging fruits in this discussion. The first one is that in bank, if you go to bank to withdraw, have they, for any reasons, give you lower denomination? So in that case, we also hold them responsible. If I go to bank and I need to withdraw 20,000 naira, and you give me 15,000 naira worth of 100 naira and other bigger denomination, and you decide to give me the lower denomination too, there's no way I will not also spend it. You recall? So I have to take it out and spend. If I have to take like 5 to get one thing, right? I will know that I'm actually expending it. These are another thing that we must also call on CBN to actually do. The other one is in terms of inflation, I can tell you if 20 naira is available and they are giving Nigerians, there are some things that you could still purchase at. Those things that they are giving you combination of 3 for 100 naira, combination of 3 for 50 naira. You can equally buy. If at all it's not being spent in urban settings, the rural area can also be spending. So I will hold them responsible for it, because I recall those countries I said when I saw them spending all their denomination. If you want to buy, in fact, I have to branch to buy corn. As in corn, maize. When I bought it, the person have to like give me change in coin. I have to like keep the coin, and when I want to buy something else, I also use the coin. So it depends on the availability. If the availability is there, I think people will actually get. Like my colleague who said he has never seen coin, he would have come across it and even make use of it.
All right. So another question I have is: Do you think that this cashless policy that we're touting, is that in any way equally impacting the use of these lower denominations?
Well, so I wouldn't say yes, because when you say cashless, those small denomination cannot be transferred to an extent. I've not seen somebody who said I would transfer 50 naira, 30 naira, 20 naira, right? So that will, like, even the seller too, because if you look at the amount you are going to pay when you transfer, you don't want to transfer such amount. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. If you are to transfer 50 naira and you are going to pay a particular amount, they will cut particular amount, and you have it in cash. You rather, even the seller will say, no, don't transfer. You have to give him or her cash. So I think it does not in any way. Perhaps this is lower denomination. It's not higher. The transaction that you transfer for might be something higher. In fact, even in our basic Gillis, now, how many times have we transferred 100 naira? Have we transferred 200 naira? You go start transferring from 500. You can only buy things maybe digital platform. If you want to recharge your card, this is when you buy 200, buy 500. But in terms of direct dealings, I have not seen people transferring 20 naira or 30 naira.
Okay, so the cashless policy is not in any way empowering the situation of the lower denominations extension or lack of use.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Now, what can we say? Do you think that this situation will in itself worsen inflation and by forcing upward prices? Like you said already now, earlier, things are happening. People are doing, some sort of packaging for this, for that. Before, I know I could buy, way years ago, you could buy pure water with coins, but now it's 15 naira or don't worry about it. So, do you think that this in any way is equally adding to the inflation situation in the country by pushing prices upward?
But most time when you want to buy pure water, the seller will say they do not have change. So you have to buy 400 naira. That's another way that for you to know that those monies are actually having issues. So, and if at all, if you are buying 3 for 100 naira, that simply means that it's around 37 naira for one. So, but do you have coin to add that will make it 37? Do you have the lower, that means you have to use 20 naira, 10 naira, 5 naira, and 2 kobo, and 2 naira, so to say. So that means if those money are available, people will actually spend those money. But it's because it's not available. We don't have it in our disposal. That's part of why. Then you ask about inflation. Now, if those money are there, I tell you our inflation will not get to the way it is now, because there's something you can buy with small denomination, and that would have discouraged arbitrary increase in the price of those things.
Okay, so now let's go to a social part of the conversation. Due to the lack of small denominations, supposedly lack of it, how does this affect, cultural practices, like token giving in churches, mosque, weddings, and even at times, even bride price payment, for some places where the bride price is being paid, they have, they tell you, oh, it's 250 naira, 50 kobo, this, that. How will this now drive the prices of some of these cultural practices?
Right. So I wouldn't want to go to the religious issue, but nevertheless, if you go to a mosque now and you're offering, or your sadaka, so to say, you are giving it at kobo, or you are putting 5 naira. It's somehow. I went to a naming, and someone told my son that is with me to pick the 5 naira and go and drop it because it's just on the ground. Nobody cared to pick it. Everybody was just stepping on it. When the boy picked it and dropped it, everybody was looking at him. He came and dropped five naira. So also it has to do with our own how do I call it, optics. So I don't know what is bad. In as much as it's offering, if I can give you 10 naira, you should be able to appreciate it. Let alone people that are on the road that you want to give money. If you also give them 10 naira, I doubt if they will actually appreciate it. Then in terms of the cultural that we have to spend the coin, it's a way of show up. Instead of you to show bring coin, you can double it and bring 1,000 naira. They will even hand you the more. So there's no value on you spending lower denomination.
All right, now, so what do you think that can be done, so that we get back to having this coins? I know that in some parts of the world, coins are still being used to access certain machines, slot machines. You have to use a coin.
Absolutely.
So in one way or another, you still need to have a coin with you one way or another, because you need, for certain things you will need to use a coin to access it. Is that some way we need to get to doing those kind of things? What can be done from the government's point of view, from manufacturers or consumers' point of view? What can we do collectively to solve the situation so that we don't lose out and now become, what I call them, mementos, just cultural heritages? Oh, I happened to have 2 naira with me. I saw the 2 naira. What can be done?
Right. So first and foremost, I think we are all stakeholders in these issues, because if you think the way things are going on is good for you, then you're also suffering the inflationary problem that we are facing. But I would like to start from government. CBN, major job is monetary policy. And in doing monetary policy, you must also do it that it will trickle down. I think they can direct banks to also be issuing those currency. If it's not available, let them produce it. If banks are issuing 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira, and coin, there's no way to not be in circulation. People will not use it to dress their house. Remember, it's called money. So everybody wants to spend the money. So if it is available, I think Nigerians are use it. Also, as a business person, I think you must also find a way in your organization to respect the coin. I could see some women when I was more kind of special place where they put coin, and whenever they sell to you or you want to collect it, they go to the coin, pick it. So it's not a big deal for anybody to spend coin, in as much as it's currency. Those countries I said that I went to and they are spending denomination and coin. Everybody's collecting. In fact, I have to even bring part of it down to my country because I place value on seeing them spending it. I don't know when I saw our own last.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Aliyu Ilias, for your insights on our conversations today on the NUPENG Dangote situation and now on our lower naira denominations and what's happening with them. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And that's it this morning on Business Daily. We've been discussing the NUPENG Dangote situation and also the lower naira denominations, from the coins down to up to at least 20 naira. What's happening with them? Why are they not, valuable? Why can't we use them to get things? That's the much we have for you this morning on the program. For more of our news, programs, and documentaries, do follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I've been your host this morning, Chiamaka Nwafor. Same time, same place next week. Bye for now.